Have you ever been in a situation where someone acts as if you don't exist, yet they always seem to be in the background? When you're face to face, they may appear cold, distant, or indifferent, but behind the scenes, they're keeping tabs, watching your every move. They might claim to have moved on, that you no longer matter to them, but their actions tell a different story. It can be confusing, frustrating, and even hurtful. But this behavior isn't random. It's intentional. Today, we're taking a closer look at the psychology behind why some people pretend not to care while still keeping an eye on you. Here's an important truth. If someone genuinely didn't care, they wouldn't be watching. They wouldn't check your social media, ask about you, or track your life from a distance. Their continued attention, no matter how subtle, is a sign that, in some way, you still matter to them. But here's where things get complicated. The silence, the distance, the indifference. It's often not a reflection of strength, but a strategy, a calculated attempt to appear unaffected, to see how you'll respond. It's a way of maintaining control, of waiting for you to make the first move, to reach out, to validate their presence in your life. This kind of behavior can be emotionally exhausting, leaving you questioning yourself. But the good news? You don't have to engage in this dynamic. You don't have to play their game. Instead, you can shift the focus back to yourself, recognize what's happening, and reclaim your power. At the end of the day, your worth isn't determined by their actions or their silence. It comes from within, and nothing they do can change that. Before we go further, take a moment to affirm this to yourself. Their silence does not define me. I know my worth. Let that sink in, because this simple reminder is your first step toward regaining control of your own narrative. You don't need their attention, their validation, or their approval to be enough. In human psychology, silence and distance are often used as a means of control. It's a defense mechanism, a way for people to shield themselves from vulnerability. By acting indifferent, they create an illusion of power and superiority. But true strength doesn't come from playing games or manipulating others. It comes from authenticity, from owning your emotions, and from having the courage to be vulnerable. So why do they keep watching you? Because they're not ready to let go. They're still attached, even if they won't admit it. Maybe they're curious, maybe even a little jealous of how you're moving forward without them. Their actions, or lack thereof, speak volumes. If they truly cared, they wouldn't just be watching from the shadows. They'd be showing up, making an effort, and being present. Their silence is a choice, and it says more about them than it does about you. As we go through this video, remember one thing. You hold the power, not them. Their silence, their games, their indifference. It's all just noise. What truly matters is how you respond. Will you let their behavior shake your confidence, or will you stand firm in your self-worth, knowing you deserve someone who shows up for you, not just someone who watches from a distance? Let's get started. Let's uncover the truth behind their behavior and talk about how you can rise above it. Because you are stronger than their silence, more valuable than their games, and more powerful than their indifference. They want you to feel forgotten. On the surface, they might act as if you no longer exist. They might ignore your messages, avoid eye contact, or pretend to be indifferent when you're around. They want you to believe you've been erased from their mind, that they've moved on without a second thought. But the truth? They're still watching. They're still checking your social media, asking mutual friends about you, and wondering what you're up to. Why? Because they haven't truly moved on. They just want you to believe they have. This behavior is a psychological tactic, a way to make you feel insecure, question your worth, and ultimately chase them. If they can convince you that they don't care, maybe you'll be the one to break the silence, to reach out first, to seek their validation. And if you do, they win, because now they've confirmed they still have power over you. But here's the reality. Their behavior isn't about you. It's about their need for control. They're trying to manipulate the situation, keeping you in a position where you're the one seeking approval. The good news? You have the power to change the game. How? By refusing to play. When you don't react, when you don't chase, when you don't fall for their illusion, you take away their power. You show them their tactics don't work on you. And that's when the tables turn. Suddenly, they're the ones wondering why you're not reacting, why you're not chasing, why you're not giving them the attention they crave. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So, focus on your growth, your peace, and your future, not their games. They can't handle the idea of you moving on first. On the surface, they may act indifferent, as if the relationship or connection meant nothing. But deep down, the thought of you moving on first unsettles them. It's not that they want you back. It's that they want to believe they had the upper hand. They want to believe that if anyone was going to be hurting, it would be you. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into their mindset and, more importantly, how you can reclaim your peace, confidence, and happiness on your own terms. But when they see you thriving, smiling, living your life with confidence, it disrupts the narrative they've created. People naturally build stories in their minds to make sense of their experiences. In their version, they were in control. They were the ones who walked away, who moved on, who held the power. And in that story, you're supposed to be the one still stuck, still thinking about them. But when they see you standing tall, embracing happiness, and moving forward, it forces them to confront a different reality, one where they weren't as significant to you as they believed. That realization can be difficult to accept. This response isn't about love or care, it's about ego. They want to believe they still occupy space in your mind, that you still miss them, and that their absence affects you. Because if you've truly let them go, it means they no longer have influence over your emotions. And for someone who thrives on control, that's a difficult truth to face. So what happens? They watch, they lurk, they keep tabs, hoping to find some sign that you're not as content as you seem. They search for cracks in your happiness, for proof that you're still struggling. But when they don't find it, uncertainty creeps in. They begin questioning their own worth, their role in your life, and their sense of control. But here's the truth. Their reaction says more about them than it does about you. Their discomfort with your happiness is a reflection of their own insecurities, not a measure of your value. And your response? It should be one of quiet strength, confidence, and forward motion. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your silence speaks volumes. Your strength shows resilience. Your ability to move forward proves that your life is no longer defined by their presence or absence. You're living for yourself, not for their approval. If you're dealing with someone who struggles to accept your independence, remember this. You owe them nothing. Not your attention, not your energy, and certainly not your time. Your focus should be on your growth, your joy, and your future, not on their ego or need for control. Affirm this to yourself daily. I owe them nothing. Not my attention, not my energy, not my time. Let it be a reminder that your worth isn't determined by their perception of you. You are enough just as you are, and the best way to prove it is by living your life fully and unapologetically. Now, let's talk about another common mind game, waiting for you to break first. This happens in all types of relationships, romantic, platonic, even professional. Someone pulls away, goes silent, or acts indifferent, all to see if you'll reach out first. It's a test designed to make you panic, doubt yourself, and ultimately give them the validation they crave. When someone suddenly becomes distant, it can trigger a natural fear of loss. You might start wondering what went wrong, why they're acting this way, or if things will ever be the same. This fear can push you to react, sending that "Are you okay?" text, double texting when they don't respond, or even apologizing for things that aren't your fault. And that's exactly what they want. But here's the truth. Their silence isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign of insecurity. They aren't pulling away because they're indifferent. They're testing you. They want to see if they still have power over your emotions. If you break first, they win. But if you remain strong, stay silent, and continue moving forward, the power dynamic shifts. When you refuse to play their game, you take back control. You show them that manipulation doesn't work, that you won't chase after someone who doesn't value you. And that's when they start to panic. Because now they are the ones left wondering why you're not reacting, why you're not reaching out, why you're not seeking their attention. As the philosopher Seneca once said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. And in this case, the best response to their mind games is distance. Creating space allows you to see things clearly. You stop reacting from a place of insecurity and start responding from a place of strength and self-respect. So what does this look like in action? It means choosing yourself. It means prioritizing your own well-being over the need to prove something to someone else. It means recognizing that you don't need to engage in these power struggles. Because real confidence doesn't come from seeking validation, but from knowing your worth and living accordingly. Stay strong. Keep moving forward. And most importantly, never let anyone make you question your value. In practice, this means choosing not to reach out, even when the temptation is strong. It means redirecting your energy towards your own life, your own ambitions, and your own happiness, rather than trying to decipher someone else's thoughts or actions. It's about recognizing that you deserve open, honest communication, not games designed to test your patience or loyalty. And here's the best part. When you embrace this mindset, you send a clear message. You show them and yourself that you are not easily swayed or controlled. You demonstrate strength, confidence, and self-worth, qualities that no one can take from you. If someone is waiting for you to be the first to break the silence, remember this. Their silence is both a test and an opportunity. It's your chance to prove that you won't engage in their games, that you won't chase someone who doesn't truly value you. Instead, you stand firm, knowing your worth remains intact. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unshaken by their silence. I stand firm in my worth. Let it remind you that your value isn't dictated by their behavior or approval. You are enough just as you are. The best way to show that? By staying strong, staying silent, and moving forward with confidence. Their pride won't let them admit the truth. Pride can be a powerful force, sometimes even stronger than love, connection, or happiness. Someone might want to reach out, check in, or ask how you've been, but their pride won't let them. Why? Because reaching out would mean admitting they still care, that they miss you, or that they were wrong. And for someone who values their ego above all else, that's an unbearable thought. Pride acts as a defense mechanism, shielding people from vulnerability and the discomfort of admitting mistakes. But while it protects them in the short term, it also traps them in a cycle of distance and pretense. They may think they're being strong, but in reality, they're hiding behind their ego. Here's the irony. If they truly didn't care, they wouldn't be keeping tabs on you. They wouldn't be checking your social media, asking about you, or lurking in the background. Their pride keeps them from reaching out. Yet it also keeps them tethered to you in the most disconnected way possible. But when you refuse to play into their pride, when you continue living your life without seeking their validation, their ego takes another hit. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Your actions speak for you. You don't need their approval to know your worth. So what does this mean for you? It means you don't need to reach out, chase, or beg for their attention. Their pride is their burden to carry, not yours. While they remain stuck in their self-made prison of ego, you are free. Free to live, to grow, and to be with people who genuinely value you. Their pride isn't your responsibility, and you owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not an apology, and certainly not a second chance. What you do owe yourself is the freedom to live authentically, unburdened by their ego or their mind games. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Their pride is their prison. I am free. Let it serve as a reminder that their choices don't define your worth. You are responsible for your own happiness, growth, and peace. The best way to honor that? By continuing to move forward unapologetically. They took you for granted. Now they're unsure. This is a common pattern in relationships where one person assumes you'll always be there, always caring, always an option. But when you finally choose yourself, when you step away, reality hits them. They no longer know where they stand with you, and that uncertainty drives them crazy. People often take for granted what feels constant. They assume they can come and go as they please, treating you however they want, and that you'll always be there when they're ready. But when you break that cycle, when you refuse to be their backup plan, that's when they start to panic. Suddenly, they're the ones questioning whether they've lost you for good. This is why they're watching you, looking for clues, signs, anything that will tell them where they stand. But here's the truth. Their uncertainty is their issue, not yours. While they hesitate and wonder, you are out there living, growing, and thriving. As Seneca wisely said, while we wait for life, life passes. And that's exactly what's happening. While they wait and wonder, you are taking control of your own narrative, proving that you're not someone to be taken for granted. You're not a fallback plan or a safety net. You are the prize. So what does this mean for you? It means you don't owe them answers, reassurance, or explanations. Instead, you focus on yourself, your growth, happiness, and future. Their uncertainty is not your burden to bear. Their silence isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their choices. And your silence? It's a reflection of your strength. You hold the power now. They watch because they still care. They act indifferent because they don't want you to know. But here's the truth. None of that matters. What matters is you, your growth, your strength, your peace. Let them stay silent. Let them lurk. Let them sit with their choices. Because your power, it was never in their hands to begin with. This journey isn't about them. It's about you, reclaiming your worth, your confidence, and your life. Every step you take forward is proof that you are enough, just as you are. You don't need their validation, their attention, or their approval to be happy. You are the author of your own story, and no one else gets to hold the pen. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe our channel Stoic Mindset Mastery. And always remember, your silence speaks louder than their words. The best is yet to come.